You're listening to the Silver Lined ReLaunch, and I'm your host, Hilary DeCesare, award-winning entrepreneur and transitional coach. Each week, I'll invite you to tune into inspirational stories, revealing how you too can turn ordinary experiences into the extraordinary. Feeling stuck? I'll share step-by-step strategies to fuel your ability to experience a life where silver linings are both abundant and possible. Welcome to the Silver Lined ReLaunch, and this is episode number 20. Today, we're going to be talking about all things relationship, and that is going to cover not just the big relationship that I am sure you're thinking about, which is that romantic relationship, or if you're single right now, you might be saying lack thereof. We're going to be talking about three different types of relationships. We're going to be talking about those types of relationships with your respected partner. It could be you're married, it could be the relationship that you want to have with a significant other. We're going to be talking about the relationship you have with your business. And last but not least, we're going to go deep into talking about the relationship you have with yourself. So the real question is, when I started talking about those three different areas of relationship, what triggered in you? When you heard relationships with others, were you like, yeah, I'm good there? When I said relationship with your business, were you like, relationship with my business? What does that mean? I mean, I work in my business every single day. I'm working myself, hours and hours and hours and just jamming out and doing things. And I'm super busy. But it's that relationship where you're working on the business. And how is the business kind of reflecting back to you where you are, who you are? And when we start talking about self, the relationship with you, the relationship that you have with by far the most important person out there, yourself, where would you put that? So I often like to do something where you have a whiteboard, you have a white wall, you have anything, okay? And you grab three different colors of Post-its and you write down, what are you, in terms of your relationships, what characteristics, what are you expecting out of that relationship? You got it. The relationship with your business, what are your expectations? The relationship with a man or a woman, what are your expectations? And your relationship with yourself. And I just want you to brainstorm, just like give yourself some time. And you know what I like to do? Turn on some music, jam out, just start to like get in the flow and start to write down. Write down, what is it? Just one off little comments and put them there. And good, bad, ugly, you put them out there and you put them underneath that section. So focus on one and then focus on another and then walk away and come back to it. But if you're driving or if you're walking or exercising and you can't do that right now, let's think about this. Let's think about if these relationships are healthy for you. Are they feeding your soul or are they sucking the life out of you? Because when you can be in harmony with all of them, and it's like this symbiotic relationship, that's when your life starts to take off. That's when you start to have the quality of life that you want. That's when, I'm even going to go out and say this, that's when you're going to start to love your life. But you might be starting, as we always talk about, you might be starting with, well, I kind of like where I am right there, or maybe I'm not even at the like part, but we'll get you to that love part. So now think about those words, those thoughts around it. And then I want you under each one of the categories: business, self, relationships of partners. And I want you to categorize those into, are these positive or negative? Positive or negative? Are they drumming up these thoughts of like, yeah, this is good. I want more of that. I want to amplify that part of it. Or do they weigh so much that they're literally weighing you down? That you know that that is not a good part of your relationship. So now you have, let's just say under business, you've got a column of positives, you've got a column of negatives. And now the next part of this, and you can write this down, is what would success be for you in each of those areas? I mean, when you start thinking about this, it's a game changer because one, sometimes we only think of success with like that almighty dollar attached to the end. We don't necessarily think about, okay, well, if there isn't a dollar sign, how could I say this in different terms? How could I say success? And I want it to be more of that feeling associated with it. How would you ultimately feel if you had this incredible, off the charts relationship with your business? This unbelievably off the charts relationship with yourself, and then that incredible relationship with another person. I mean, you talk about hitting the trifecta. And okay, first off, okay, what I'm about to say, it just came to me, so forgive me, but I'm going to use an example of a triathlon. And no, I have never done a triathlon, but I think we can all understand that a triathlon, and I know I've got some friends out there that are listening right now saying, I can't believe she's using this as an example. But like I said, it just came to me, so I have to go with it. But if you think about a triathlon, you've got biking, you've got running, and you've got swimming. All right. I like to run. I really am not much of a biker, and I can't stand the thought of being in an ocean swimming. So, actually, this example is not good for me, but it might be better for you. And the higher level concept, I am sure you are understanding what I'm saying. So, with that, you have this race that you have to get through each one of these categories, each one of these areas. And if you're not very good at one, you overcompensate and you really give a lot to that other area so that your overall time will be under, whatever it is, 11 hours or 12 hours. Again, I have no idea what I'm talking about. But I do know what I'm talking about when it has to do with relationships in your life. This is what I do. This is this is super critical. And so what I want to understand is, which area of your life right now are you overcompensating? That you're like, oh my God, I'm really, really good. My business is thriving, but is it a healthy relationship? You might be seven figures right now, and you might be working 60 hours, 70 hours a week and not having any time for, let's say, your personal life or your girlfriend or your spouse, or even trying to get back out there into the dating world. You might be so focused in one area and then you compensate because hey, I got this part. I understand this part of my life. I'm just going to lean more into it. But it may not actually be healthy. It may not actually be a positive for you. And then you look at yourself and your relationship with yourself, and you all of a sudden find that, wow, you've been ignoring yourself. I have clients that during the pandemic finally had an opportunity to have silence and go internal versus everything being external. And when they started to have that relationship with themselves, guess what? Things started to manifest. Things started to happen. Things started to have, abundance come into their life in all of the different areas. And that's where it goes back to that symbiotic relationship, that it you might even be thinking that one of the areas is, going, okay, you're just all out. It's so great, but it's a little unhealthy. It's a little toxic for you. You might be thinking that you're really not doing very much with yourself, but there's a few things that you're doing that are really positive, and we need to lean into those more. And that all we need is a little bit more of that to take you to the next level. But until you actually take this assessment, you won't know. You won't know what's positive, what's negative, and more importantly, you're not going to know what success is to you. And we talk about clarity and how important it is that the first place to start in anything is getting a clear picture of where you are right now. And then, which is what you just did with this exercise in your mind or on these Post-its. I do like the Post-its because then I keep it up for a while and I look at it and I move Post-its around and I really focus on it. And we all know what we focus on grows. And then you now have that starting point and you have the vision of what success looks like. And instead of going all in one area, start to look at it like, hey, I want the best in all areas. And when you start to look at it as a whole, as this whole entity of you, that's when you can really start to say you're on a journey to have a better quality of life. So try this out. Go over to the treasure chest, check it out. We're going to have an exercise over there, and get into the Facebook group, the Silver, no, what's it called? Hold on, we changed it. It's called the Relaunch Effect. The Relaunch Effect, a Silver Lined Life. A Silver Lined Life. This idea that, again, this could be the silver lining of you understanding the fundamentals of the foundation you need. And it kind of wakes you up. You'll look at it, you'll look at this board, you'll look at this wall, and you'll be like, wow. And if you only have a couple in one area and you have a ton in the other, and you notice that there's more positives, more negatives, I mean, this is when it gets super interesting. So let us know how it goes. And again, it's all about live now, love now, and let us help you let you go. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you felt a connection to this episode of the Silver Lined ReLaunch, please head over to iTunes now. It would mean so much to me if you would leave a good review and help others find silver linings as well. And don't forget, you can have immediate access to all of the bonuses and notes from the show today in our treasure chest, which you have access to for free by texting 55444 and typing in treasure chest. Or
You could go to our private Facebook group, The Relaunch Effect, Living a Life You Love. Together we've hit the reset button for you, turning your transitions into a transformation. Until next time, don't forget, there's always a silver lining.